Hello everyone, we are going to be doing an introduction to the terminal today. Before we begin, I would like you to ask yourself, why do I want to learn the terminal as a skill? And hopefully your answer looks a little like, I want to be a software developer, or I want to be a systems administrator, or I want to be a network administrator, right? Any sort of IT professional will see the terminal as a very beneficial skill to have, not only for your resume, but for being able to get things done, right? So the first thing you want to do, of course, is have a computer with a terminal in it. If you're on a Mac, then one is already installed for you. If you're on Windows, then you want to open git-scm.com, and there's going to be an installer here for you to install a program called Git Bash. Okay, once you install that on Windows, press the Windows key and type git space bash bash. Okay, and that will open your terminal, which is Git Bash. If you're on a Mac, you want to do press on your keyboard Command spacebar, and that should bring up Spotlight Search, where you can look for terminal. You don't need to type the entire word. You can just do something like term, and you can press enter, and that should open the terminal for you. Okay, so the terminal looks a little like this. You probably have it on a different color. I've customized the color. If you're on a Mac, yours is probably a white background and black text. If you're on Windows, then it's a little more colorful than mine, I believe. Okay, now, what is the terminal? The terminal is just a different way for you to interact with your computer. And we're going to try to stick to that concept. So if you're on Windows, you want to do Explorer space dot and press enter. Now, notice that on my machine, I'm not on a Windows machine, so I get this error which says bash explorer command not found. If you're on a Mac, the command you want to run is open space dot. Now, two things. Number one, congratulations, you already typed your first bash command. Open is, well, these two are specific to the operating system, the computer that you're working with, whether you're working on a Mac or a Windows, only one of these will work for you, okay? But still, you know, the idea is the same, okay? In Bash, the first thing that you need to do is going to be type a command, space, and give it some arguments. In this case, I give it the dot argument. And we're not going to get into what this means for now, but just know that this is the general syntax for a command. Command space arguments, and then you press enter. Right? Now, what this does is it opens my home directory in Finder. And a curious thing is that you'll notice in Finder we have the EJR over here, and in the terminal right here it tells me EJR. That is because I'm looking at the same directory in the terminal and in Finder. In the terminal, by default, you do not see the contents of the directory listed. Okay, for that we need to run a different command. We're going to run the ls command. Now, the ls command is a little special in that it doesn't need an argument. Okay, by default, it's going to do it's going to list the contents of your current directory. But you know, let's do it just like we did open, and we're going to do ls space dot. And when we see what comes out, we see applications, desktop, documents, and if we look here at my at Finder, we see applications, desktop, documents, then .NET downloads idea projects, .NET downloads idea projects. So it's the exact same thing, okay? So far, the ls command just gives us the same information that we would get if we navigated our computer using Finder. Okay, so for now, you can think of terminal as a way to get around your computer. Now, I mentioned that ls doesn't really need that space dot. You can just type ls and press enter. But two things. We already learned the ls command, which will list the contents, and we also learned this special character, which is the dot, and it represents the directory that you are in. Okay, so what we said earlier, open space dot, or if you were on a Windows Explorer space dot, you were saying, hey, I want to open the directory that I am currently in, which we see here is EJR. Okay, but the other thing, of course, is going to be you're not always going to be in this EJR directory, right? So the next thing you want to learn is how to know where you are when you are in the terminal. And for that, you're going to use the command pwd, okay? And you press enter. And that tells me that I am in /users/EJR. Now, pwd stands for print working directory. If you like acronyms, that's a very nice acronym, print working directory. pwd prints the directory that you are in, okay? That's all it does. And you are in /users/EJR. Okay? The next command that I'm going to teach you is going to be the clear command. Okay? And the clear command, what it does is it will clear your terminal so that it looks kind of like when you just open it, as if you haven't run any commands yet. Okay? The next command that we are going to learn is going to be the command to change directory. Okay? And first, let's do that in Finder. In Finder, we come here and we double click on whatever directory we want to navigate to. Okay? In Bash, first of all, we don't know where to go from here, right? This is a completely black screen. So when that happens and you have no idea what's going on, again, two commands you want to run are going to be pwd to see where you are and ls to see what is here. Now, just like you can simply double click from Finder, when you are on the terminal, you can use the cd command to change directory. And for any of these directories that you see in here, when you type ls, you can just type the name of that same name of the directory to go to that directory. Okay, notice that from EJR, it changed to applications. Okay. The other thing is you want this, when it comes to the terminal, most things are case sensitive. So you want to stick to using the exact same casing that you see. In this case, I typed a capital A and then the rest lowercase, right? Now, to show you that I'm not lying to you, pwd now tells me that I am in users/EJR/applications. Let's talk a little about this slash here. That slash you should be more or less familiar with from looking at things in your browser, okay? Notice that here, when I click on that link, I see git.scm/book/en/v2. The slash is just a way to separate directory. So I am inside of users, and inside of the users directory, there's an EJR directory, and inside the EJR directory, there's an applications directory, and that is where I am from navigating around in the terminal, which is the same place that I am here in Finder. And if I type ls to list the contents of this directory, I see the same thing, if a little different. We don't want to get into the difference for now, but it is the same directory, trust me. the next thing that we want to learn is how do we get back, right? So clear and print working directory, pwd. How do we go back from the applications directory back to this EJR directory? The way that you're going to do that is going to be cd, and then the argument for this is going to be 2 dots in a row, and you press enter. And when we see the current working directory, we see that it's /users/EJR, okay? So again, dot is a command that's very useful for some commands. It indicates your current working directory, okay? It's kind of like pwd, but remember pwd just prints the working directory to your screen, where dot gives you a shortcut to say, hey, use this command on the current working directory, okay? So very similar, the dot and pwd, but if you just type the dot, it has no idea what you just did. So one more time, pwd prints the working directory, okay? And the dot is to use it with other bash commands, okay? And one more time, to change it into a directory, you use the cd command and the name of the directory. To go back, you use the same cd command, and then you indicate I want to go up one time, and you do that by using the dot notation. Okay? Now, the next special character that we want to talk about, you've already talked about the dot and the double dot. So the next one that we want to talk is the tilde. The tilde is also a special character. Okay? And in this case, it indicates your home directory. So when I said earlier to you that, hey, you know what, this EJR indicates the same as here, it was a fib, a little, because this EJR is actually the name of, I think it's actually the name of the computer or the owner, or maybe the username. I'm not sure. But this tilde over here is actually the path that you are in, okay? Let's put that to the test. Let's go into the applications directory, and let's say, hey, you know what? I want to go back to the home directory. So we say cd, and instead of doing dot, we're going to do tilde, okay? And if tilde means home, then we should go back to the home directory. This changed, so let's print working directory, and look at that. We're back in the home directory, okay? Now, another thing that we're going to look at is we're going to, don't worry about how I did this for now. We're going to go back 2 directories. So from here, whatever this directory is, this very long directory, we're going to go back to the home directory. And we're going to do that with cd space, and then we'll say dot dot, and that puts us in the applications directory. But then I can say, hey, you know what? I want to keep going, so / dot dot. And this, in this case, the / is working backwards, because this one goes up to the applications, and then it says go up again, and that puts me in the /users/EJR directory. We print the working directory, and that is indeed where we are. Okay? So those commands should be enough to let you move around in your computer, in your file system. Okay? So the next thing that we want to do is we want to know how to create things, how to create files and directories, and remove those same files and directories in Bash. So the first command we're going to use is going to be the mkdir command, which will create a directory, and we will call this directory practice. Okay. If we now use the ls command, we see the practice directory here. We see the practice directory here in Finder. So let's go to it in Finder, and let's also go to that directory in the command in the terminal. Okay. And when we do the ls command, it is empty. Nothing prints out, just like here. Okay, nothing. That's good. The next thing we want to learn to make is create an actual file. It's a different command. For that, we're going to use the touch command. And we're going to create a file, iamcool.txt. Oh yeah. Okay. Notice that immediately you can see it in the practice directory. When you use the ls command, it now appears here on the terminal as well. All right. So very nice. The next thing you want to do is learn to remove a file. For that, we use the rm command. Okay. So we're going to say rm space. And remember, the second thing we need is an argument. And we are going to use the same file name and press enter. And that gets rid of the file that we had just created. All right. The next thing you want to learn to do is remove a directory, delete a directory. So this practice directory, we want to get rid of it. Okay, but we don't want to come here and do, move to trash. Okay, no. We are going to do it from the terminal. So for that, we're going to go up to the home directory, and then we are going to say, are we in the right place? Yes, there's a practice directory here. So we're going to say remove practice, and it's going to fail. Okay, and the reason why is because practice is a directory and not a file. And in the terminal, those things are treated very differently. So remember earlier I said a command needs to run a command in the terminal, you need the name of the command, arguments, and sometimes you'll have other things, and those other things are called flags, or options. Okay. And to delete a directory, you still use the rm command, but you have to use the -r in order to modify. And this tells the terminal, hey, it's okay to remove this directory. And then we give it the name of the thing that we're trying to delete. And we notice that it disappeared here. And when we do the ls command, it is no longer here under place Scala. So we know that in fact it has been removed. Okay, and that is how you remove a directory, how you delete a directory. So let's clear this again, and let's get a little fancier. We're going to create our practice directory again. We verify that it's here. We are going to go inside of the practice directory, and we are going to create iamcool again. Okay, we don't really need an extension, so we're just going to leave it like this. And then let's go back to the home directory, back up. We are in practice, so we're going to go back up 1, and that takes us into the home directory. Okay. Now, clear the screen, and we're going to try to delete that practice directory. Remember, the only thing that changes now is that there is a file inside of this practice directory. So ls to see what's here. We are in the right place. Practice is right here. So we can say rm, and we said that in order to delete a directory, we need the -r modifier, right? And we give it a space after that, and we say practice, which is the name of the directory that we're trying to get rid of. And that works. Okay, so even we verify that. So even with a file in there, it works. Now, I'm not sure. Let's see one thing. I guess it's a good time to introduce the command alias. Alias. Do we have the alias command? Okay, we do have it. Okay. You know what? Forget the alias command for now. Yeah, let's keep going. So we learned how to create a file, create a directory, delete files, and delete directories. Let's create that practice directory one, hopefully last time, right? Go inside the practice directory, and we're going to create a file, bicycle. Okay, let's look, and we see our bicycle file in here. And now what we want to do is we want to copy bicycle. Okay, and we would do that with the cp command. The cp command, copy, takes two arguments. First, you give it the name of the file that you want to copy, and next you say what do you want to copy it to. Okay, so we're going to get fancier. Instead of bicycle2, we're going to say bicycle copy, bicycle dash copy. Okay, so this should give us, after this, we should have two files in the practice directory, bicycle and bicycle copy. We list the contents of this directory, and indeed we do have bicycle and bicycle copy. Okay. The other thing that you can do is you can move a file, and you do that with the mv command. And mv, also like copy, takes two arguments. So we're going to say move the bicycle file, and we're going to move it to a file, to a different file, and this file is going to be called not bicycle. And we press enter, and we look at here, and we no longer have a bicycle file, but we do have a not bicycle file. And just because it's bugging me, we're going to move it back. Okay. Now, now I want to talk about something that's very important when moving around your computer, but that may not be immediately obvious. Okay, so you notice here I can, for example, I see the contents of this directory, and I have bicycle and bicycle copy. So to remove bicycle copy, I just do rm bicycle dash copy, right? Now, what if I am in the home directory? How do I get rid of bicycle, right? We know that from here, from the home directory, we have practice. Remember that the ls command can't take an argument, so we can actually say list the contents of practice. And that tells me that there's a bicycle directory in there. So we can actually say rm space, and then we need the path to that bicycle file. And the path begins with going to a different folder / bicycle. And that removes the bicycle file in practice. Okay? Now let's go into practice again. And we're going to create another file. And this is going to be last practice. Okay? Now, let's go back to the home directory and see what is in here. And now we are going to go into the movies directory. And hopefully I have nothing in here. Okay, I have one thing in here, that's fine. So now we are in a completely we're in this directory, right? So even in Finder, we have no way of going back to this practice directory. So how from here can we delete this same file? Okay, and for that we are going to introduce what is known as an absolute path. Okay, this is very important. We're going to introduce an absolute path. We already seen an absolute path. Okay, when we do pwd, notice that this path begins with a /. Okay, that indicates that it's an absolute path, and the first folder that it hits is the users, and then /ejr, and then it goes into movies. So in the rm command, we've been doing things like rm space practice when things are in the same folder that we are in. If we're in a different folder, we can use an absolute path to get to this file. Okay, it's not particularly mind-blowing, but it looks a little like this. We know that a home directory is in /users/ejr. This brings us to here. Okay, next we need to go inside of practice /practice, and then we're going to delete this file, in particular last-practice. So we say -last-practice. Okay, and notice there is nothing here. Okay, we go into this folder and there is nothing. This is one of the powerful things that you can do from the terminal, because if I am in Finder, there is no way besides navigating to it that I can go back and get rid of the last practice file. All right, but you can't do that in the terminal. Now let's do that again, because now we want to get rid of the directory. So we are going to say rm space -r /users/ejr/practice. This gets rid of the directory. Okay, now remember, we are working from the movies directory. We're actually working from this directory, where we have no view at all of what's going on in the home directory. In the terminal, we can delete files from somewhere else completely. That is a very powerful thing to do. Okay, and it's but remember, most of the time you don't want to be doing that. You will have to do that sometimes, and it's very important that you learn how, which is why we covered it. But for the most part, you do want to navigate with cd to the directory where you want to be doing things. Okay, we're going to stop here for now, but one thing that I do want to mention is that depending on how far you want to go with this, it's probably very easy to get lost. You know, when I started learning the terminal, I remember one of the first things that I bumped into was the Advanced Bash Scripting Guide. And, you know, it's this ginormous document that covers a lot of things. And, you know, I tried to go through this line by line, and it was absolutely awful. I quit very early on, and it was incredibly frustrating. So you don't want to be doing that. It's very easy to look for the wrong things. So if you are looking for things to practice, I will give you a very good website to visit, and look for the Python. Let's see, it's Learn Python the Hard Way. Okay, and it comes right there. And go here, and you're not actually going to learn Python. Again, don't get lost. We're looking for the appendix. Let's look at it from here, and we want appendix A. Okay, and this one is a command line crash course. It covers most of the things that we cover in this file. I mean, in this video. I would say to practice, begin on exercise 2. And I would, if I were you, I would skip exercise 8, and I would look at everything else in here. Okay, that's all for now.